The Marvel Cinematic Universe is about to collapse. Not just one Earth, not just a couple of dimensions, but the entire multiverse is tearing itself apart at the seams. And at the center of it all stands one man in a metal mask who might just be the only person capable of either saving it or destroying it forever. Avengers Doomsday drops next year, and the leaks coming out right now are absolutely wild. We're talking about Reed Richards begging for help, Thor gaining godlike power and losing it to the villain, and a countdown clock ticking toward the end of everything. This isn't just another superhero team-up. This is the culmination of over 2 decades of Marvel films. From the original Spider-Man trilogy, to the Fox X-Men universe, to everything Kevin Feige has built since Iron Man. Today, I'm breaking down the leaked trailer dialogue, the debunked plot rumors, Thor's devastating power arc, and what all of this means for the actual story we're going to see on screen. Will Doctor Doom really become a god? And more importantly, how does Franklin Richards, the most powerful mutant child in Marvel history, fit into all of this? Let me know in the comments what you think Doom's master plan actually is. Make sure to hit subscribe because we're covering every leak and trailer drop leading up to May 2026, the fantastic plea. So the 4th teaser trailer for Avengers Doomsday is reportedly dropping next week. Now before you roll your eyes and say these leaks are always fake, hold up. The same sources that accurately predicted what would be in the X-Men 97 trailers are now saying they know exactly what dialogue we're going to hear in this new Doomsday spot. And if they're right, this trailer is going to be absolutely heartbreaking. Picture this. Reed Richards, the smartest man in his universe, shows up on Earth 616. This is the main MCU timeline where all the Avengers movies have taken place. He arrives in Wakanda and he's not there to show off his stretching powers or crack jokes about science. He's desperate. According to the leak, Reed is going to say something along these lines to Shuri. They say, "No problem on this Earth is beyond your mind. On my world, that burden was mine to bear, but I have exhausted every solution and my child is still gone. We need your help." Let that sink in for a second. Reed Richards, the guy who built a portal to the negative zone, who can calculate quantum mechanics in his head, who has solved problems that would make Tony Stark weep, is admitting he can't fix this. His child is missing. The multiverse is collapsing, and he's out of options. This is how you know things are about to get catastrophically bad in this movie. When the smartest person in the room tells you they can't solve the problem, you know you're in serious trouble. Now let's back up and figure out how we even got to this point. The Fantastic Four movie that's releasing before Avengers Doomsday is set in an alternate 1960s timeline. It's not the main MCU, it's a completely different universe with a retro-futuristic vibe. Something happens in that movie that forces the Fantastic Four to leave their universe and travel to Earth 660. We don't know all the details yet, but based on casting announcements and set photos, we know that Doctor Doom is going to be a major player in their film. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a rumor going around that when the Fantastic Four arrive on Earth 616 at the beginning of Avengers Doomsday, Doom is actually with them. And get this, he's pretending to be a hero. Doom shows up acting like he's part of the team, like he's there to help save the multiverse alongside the Avengers. This is classic Doom behavior, by the way. In the comics, Victor Von Doom is a master manipulator. He doesn't just attack head-on like Thanos did. He schemes. He plays the long game. He positions himself as the solution to the problem while secretly being the one who caused the problem in the first place. So imagine the Fantastic Four land on Earth 616 with Doom in tow. Reed starts explaining to the Avengers what's happening. The multiverse is experiencing incursions. An incursion is when 2 universes collide with each other and both realities start to merge and destroy each other. It's like a cosmic car crash, but instead of 2 vehicles, it's 2 entire universes smashing together. Only one universe can survive an incursion. The other gets completely erased from existence. Every person, every planet, every atom just gone. This is what's been happening across the multiverse. Universe after universe has been colliding and getting destroyed. The Fantastic Four witnessed this happening to their own reality. And according to Reed, even with all his genius, he couldn't stop it. But here's the kicker. There's one more piece to this puzzle that makes Reed's plea even more devastating. His son Franklin is missing. Now, if you're not familiar with Franklin Richards from the comics, let me give you the quick version. Franklin is not just some kid. He's arguably the most powerful being in the entire Marvel universe. This child has reality warping abilities abilities that put him on the same level as cosmic entities like Eternity and the Living Tribunal. Franklin can create entire pocket universes just by thinking about it. He can rewrite the laws of physics. He can bring people back from the dead. He's basically a god in the body of a little boy. In Avengers Doomsday, Franklin is going to be a major plot point. And based on the leaks, it seems like Doctor Doom either kidnaps Franklin or somehow gains control over him. Doom recognizes that Franklin's reality warping power is the key to surviving the collapse of the multiverse. If Doom can harness Franklin's abilities, he can reshape what's left of reality into anything he wants. So when Reed shows up in Wakanda begging Shuri for help, he's not just trying to stop incursions. He's trying to save his son from a villain who wants to use him as a weapon to become a god. That's the emotional core of this scene. A father who has run out of options, asking for help from the one person who might be smart enough to solve an impossible problem. What do you think is going to happen to Franklin? Drop your predictions in the comments right now. Do you think Doom successfully uses Franklin to gain his powers, or do you think the heroes rescue him in time? Let me know, because this is going to be one of the most debated plot points leading up to the movie, the Doomsday Clock device. So Reed Richards shows up on Earth 616 and explains the situation to Shuri. The multiverse is dying. Incursions are happening all over the place. Entire universes are being wiped out. And now Earth 616 is next in line. The question becomes, how do you even prepare for something like that? If another Earth is about to crash into yours and destroy both realities, you need some kind of warning system. You need to know when it's coming so you at least have a chance to do something about it. That's where Shuri comes in. She's the Black Panther and one of the most brilliant minds on Earth 616. In Avengers Infinity War, she almost figured out how to safely remove the Mind Stone from Vision's head in a matter of minutes, which is something that Bruce Banner and Tony Stark couldn't even attempt. She has access to vibranium, the most versatile material in the MCU, and Wakandan technology that's decades ahead of anything else on the planet. So Reed, Shuri, and reportedly Hank McCoy, also known as Beast from the X-Men, team up to create a device. This device is what we've been seeing in the Avengers Doomsday teaser trailers. It's a countdown clock. But this isn't counting down to a bomb going off or a missile launch. It's counting down to the moment when Earth 616 collides with another Earth in an incursion event. Think about how terrifying that is. Imagine looking at a screen that tells you exactly how many hours and minutes are left until your entire universe ceases to exist. Every person you've ever known, every place you've ever been, every memory, every achievement, every moment of human history, all of it gone. And you're just watching the numbers tick down. The trailer footage that's been released shows this ominous red countdown display. The numbers are dropping, and the heroes are scrambling to figure out what to do. Because here's the thing, even if you know an incursion is coming, stopping it is almost impossible. In the comics, the smartest minds in the Marvel Universe tried everything. Reed Richards built devices called life rafts, which were essentially high-tech escape pods designed to survive the destruction of a universe. The Illuminati, a secret group that included Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and others, made horrific decisions to try to prevent incursions. They even used the Infinity Gauntlet at one point, and it still didn't permanently solve the problem. So this countdown clock that Reed, Shuri, and Beast build is both a technological marvel and a symbol of hopelessness. It tells you when the end is coming, but it doesn't tell you how to stop it. And according to the new leak about the fourth trailer, this is what Reed is going to reference when he talks to Shuri. He's going to explain that on his Earth, he built something similar. He saw the incursion coming, he tried everything in his power to stop it, and he failed. Now here's something really interesting that the leak mentions. The fourth trailer is supposedly going to feature the Fantastic Four and Wakanda, but it's also going to show Talokan. Talokan is the underwater kingdom ruled by Namor, which was introduced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Namor and his people have been at odds with Wakanda in the past, but they eventually formed an alliance. If Talokan is showing up in this trailer, that means Namor is getting involved in the fight to stop the incursions. Namor is one of the most powerful beings on Earth. He's a mutant with superhuman strength. He can fly, he can breathe underwater, and he commands an entire army. Having him on the team is a big deal. But even with all that power, it's still not enough to stop what's coming. The collapse of the multiverse isn't something you can just punch your way out of. This is a problem that requires impossible choices, and that's what makes Avengers Doomsday so compelling. It's not about heroes teaming up to beat the bad guy and save the day. It's about heroes realizing that the day might not be savable. The countdown clock is ticking and no one knows how to stop it. So what do you think? Is there any way the heroes can actually prevent the incursions, or is the multiverse doomed no matter what they do? And do you think Namor is going to play a bigger role than we expect? Comment below with your theories because I want to hear what you think happens next. The debunked Endgame theory. Alright, now let's talk about a rumor that's been floating around for a while and why I'm really glad it's apparently not true. There was a report that Avengers Doomsday was going to basically copy the structure of Avengers Endgame. Instead of the heroes traveling through time like they did in Endgame, they were going to travel through the multiverse and revisit iconic moments from old Marvel movies. We're talking about the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Fox X-Men films, the early 2000s Marvel movies like Daredevil and Elektra, all of that stuff. The idea was that the Avengers would jump into these different universes and witness or even interact with shot-for-shot recreations of key scenes from those films. So for example, you might see Tom Holland's Spider-Man watching Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fight the Green Goblin on that burning building from the first Spider-Man movie. Or you might see the current MCU heroes watching Hugh Jackman's Wolverine go berserk in the Weapon X facility from X-Men Origins. The rumor suggested these moments were going to be set points in time, meaning they were fixed events that had to happen exactly the way they originally did, just like how in Endgame the heroes couldn't change the past. On paper, I can see why some people might think this sounds cool. It's a nostalgia trip, it's a celebration of Marvel's history before the MCU even existed. And it would technically make sense given that Avengers Doomsday is being marketed as a multiverse story that brings together characters from all these different timelines. But here's why I think this would have been a terrible idea. First, it's lazy. Avengers Endgame already did the whole revisit past moments thing. We saw the Battle of New York again. We saw the events of Thor: The Dark World again. We even got a scene with Tony Stark talking to his dad in the 1970s. Endgame earned that structure because it was the culmination of the Infinity Saga. The time travel mechanic worked as a way to bring the story full circle and give closure to characters we'd spent over a decade with. But Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are supposed to be the culmination of the multiverse saga. That's a completely different thing. The multiverse saga is about infinite possibilities, about variance, about exploring what could have been instead of what was. If Doomsday just rehashes old movies scene for scene, it's not exploring new possibilities. It's just replaying the past. Second, we can already watch those old Marvel movies whenever we want. They're on streaming, they're on Blu-ray. If I want to see Tobey Maguire fight the Green Goblin, I can just watch Spider-Man 2002. I don't need to see it recreated in Avengers Doomsday. What I want to see is those characters doing something new. I want to see Tobey's Spider-Man interacting with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in a meaningful way that moves the story forward. We already got a taste of that in Spider-Man No Way Home, and it was incredible. That movie worked because it wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about bringing those characters together to explore different philosophies of what it means to be Spider-Man. That's what Doomsday should be doing with all these returning characters. Third, and this is the big one, Avengers Doomsday needs to be its own thing. Yes, there are going to be parallels to Infinity War and Endgame. Doctor Doom is almost certainly going to win at the end of Doomsday, just like Thanos won at the end of Infinity War. The heroes are going to be defeated and scattered. The multiverse is going to collapse, and Doom is going to reshape what's left into Battleworld, a patchwork planet made up of fragments from different realities. Then in Avengers Secret Wars, the heroes are going to have to find a way to dethrone God Emperor Doom and restore some version of the multiverse. That's the structure, but the journey to get there should be different. It should be creative. It should surprise us. If Doomsday is just Endgame with multiversal travel instead of time travel, then why are we even watching it? We've already seen that movie. Fortunately, Daniel RPK, a very reliable source for Marvel leaks, responded to this rumor and said it's not really accurate. So it looks like Avengers Doomsday is not going to be a shot-for-shot multiverse remix of old Marvel films, and I'm really happy about that. Now that doesn't mean we won't see any moments that call back to previous movies, we definitely will. But it sounds like those moments are going to be used in a more creative way rather than just being nostalgic recreations. What do you think? Would you have wanted to see them revisit old Marvel movie scenes, or are you glad they're doing something more original? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious where people stand on this. The Ghost Rider wild card Now let's talk about some of the other characters who might be showing up in Avengers Doomsday, because the cameo list for this movie is getting absolutely insane. We already know that characters from the Fox X-Men universe are going to appear. We saw a tease of that in Deadpool and Wolverine when Hugh Jackman's Wolverine crossed over into the MCU. We also know that multiple Spider-Man variants are expected to return, including Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. There have been rumors about Charlie Cox's Daredevil having a significant role. And now we're hearing about Ghost Rider. Specifically, there have been reports that a variant of Ghost Rider is going to make a cameo appearance in Avengers Doomsday. And the name that's been attached to this rumor is Robert Pattinson. Yes, the guy who played a vampire in Twilight and then reinvented himself as one of the best actors of his generation with movies like The Lighthouse, Tenet, and The Batman. Robert Pattinson was apparently considered for the role of Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday. Now before you get too excited, the report says he was considered, but it's not confirmed whether he actually took the role. Sometimes actors are in talks for Marvel projects and it doesn't work out due to scheduling conflicts or creative differences, or just because both parties couldn't come to an agreement. But the fact that Robert Pattinson's name is even in the conversation for Ghost Rider is wild. Think about what that would look like. Pattinson has proven with the Batman that he can play a dark, brooding character with emotional depth. Ghost Rider is literally a guy whose head turns into a flaming skull and who rides a motorcycle that's on fire while dragging demons to hell. If Pattinson is playing a variant of Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday, even just for a quick cameo, that would be such a cool choice. And here's the thing, Ghost Rider fits perfectly into a multiverse collapsing story. In the comics, Ghost Rider is a spirit of vengeance. He's tied to supernatural forces and cosmic entities. If the multiverse is dying and realities are crashing into each other, that's exactly the kind of apocalyptic event that would draw Ghost Rider out. He's not going to sit back and watch the universe burn. He's going to ride straight into the fire and drag whoever is responsible down with him. Now we've also heard rumors about other legacy characters potentially appearing. Wesley Snipes' Blade already showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine, so we know Marvel is willing to bring back actors from the pre-MCU era. There have been whispers about Jennifer Garner's Elektra possibly returning. Ben Affleck's Daredevil has been rumored as well, though that one seems less likely. And then there's the big one, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage played Johnny Blaze in Ghost Rider 2007 and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance 2011. Those movies were not great, let's be honest. But Nicolas Cage is a cult icon and his version of Ghost Rider has a dedicated fan base. If Marvel brings back Nick Cage as Ghost Rider, even for just one scene, the internet is going to lose its mind. Imagine a moment where multiple Ghost Rider variants show up. Robert Pattinson as one version, Nicolas Cage as another, maybe even a comic-accurate Danny Ketch version. They all appear for one massive supernatural team-up moment before the multiverse collapses. That would be incredible. But here's the thing, all of these cameos need to serve the story. Deadpool and Wolverine did a great job with its cameos because they weren't just random appearances. Wesley Snipes' Blade showed up because he was trapped in the void, which is where the TVA sends people who are erased from the timeline. That made sense within the logic of the movie. The same thing needs to happen in Avengers Doomsday. If Ghost Rider shows up, there needs to be a reason. If Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man returns, it needs to mean something. These characters can't just be here for nostalgia points. They need to contribute to the story in a meaningful way. Do you think Robert Pattinson would make a good Ghost Rider? And which legacy Marvel character are you most excited to see return in Avengers Doomsday? Comment your answers below because I'm really curious which characters people are hoping to see Thor's devastating power arc. Alright, now we need to talk about Thor, because if this new leak is accurate, Thor is about to go through one of the most brutal story arcs we've ever seen in the MCU. And it all revolves around the Odin Force. Let me set the stage. According to the report from Strip Marvel, a very reliable Spanish Marvel news account with almost 1 million subscribers, this is what happens. The entity known as Eternity is weakening because the multiverse is dying. Eternity is a cosmic being who represents the entire universe. He's basically the living embodiment of all space and time. In Thor: Love and Thunder, we saw Eternity at the end of the movie when Gore the God Butcher reached the center of the universe and was granted one wish. Gore used that wish to bring back his daughter, which resulted in a girl named Love who now has powers granted by Eternity himself. She's been traveling with Thor ever since. But now, because the multiverse is collapsing, Eternity is losing power. And because Love's powers come from Eternity, she's also losing her abilities. Thor realizes that something catastrophic is happening on a cosmic
cosmic level. He knows he needs more power if he's going to stand any chance of stopping Doctor Doom and preventing the end of everything. So Thor does what any desperate son would do. He asks his father for help. Now obviously Odin is dead. He died in Thor Ragnarok. But in the teaser trailer for Avengers Doomsday, we hear Thor's voice saying, "Father, give me the power of the All-Fathers." This suggests that Thor is somehow able to communicate with Odin's spirit or access the power that Odin once wielded. The Odin Force, also called the Thor Force in the comics when Thor eventually inherits it, is one of the most powerful energies in the Marvel Universe. It's what allowed Odin to go toe-to-toe with cosmic threats like Galactus. It grants the user near omnipotent abilities including energy manipulation, matter manipulation, reality warping, and the ability to enchant objects with incredible power. When Odin wielded the Odin Force, he was essentially the most powerful being in the 9 realms, so Thor gaining access to the Odin Force would make him exponentially stronger than he's ever been. We're talking about a version of Thor who could potentially fight Doctor Doom on equal footing, even if Doom has absorbed the powers of multiple cosmic entities and superpowered children. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. According to the leak, Thor obtains the Odin Force, but he cannot withstand it. The power is too much for him. He tries to use it to fight Doom and he fails. And because Thor's body and mind can't handle the sheer magnitude of the Odin Force, he falls into something called the Odin Sleep. In Norse mythology and in the Marvel comics, the Odin Sleep is a state of deep hibernation that Odin had to enter periodically to recharge his power. While in the Odin Sleep, Odin was completely vulnerable. He couldn't wake up or defend himself. It was a necessary process to prevent the Odin Force from consuming him, but it also left Asgard without its king during those times. If Thor falls into the Odin Sleep in Avengers Doomsday, that means he's going to be out of commission. He's not dead, but he's not awake either. He's trapped in a deep sleep while the multiverse continues to collapse around him. And here's the worst part. Doctor Doom is going to take the Odin Force from Thor while he's in this vulnerable state. Imagine how devastating that moment is going to be. Thor finally gains access to the power of his father. He thinks he's strong enough to stop the villain. He charges into battle with the Odin Force coursing through him, and Doom just takes it. Doom doesn't just defeat Thor. He strips him of the very power that was supposed to save everyone. This is peak Doctor Doom. He doesn't just win fights. He dismantles his enemies and takes everything they have. With the Odin Force added to whatever other powers Doom has already collected, he's going to be unstoppable. This is how Doom becomes God Emperor Doom. He doesn't just gain one cosmic power source. He systematically takes power from multiple sources. Franklin Richards' reality warping abilities, Love's connection to eternity, Wiccan's magic, and now the Odin Force. Each one makes him stronger. Each one brings him closer to godhood. But the report also says that Thor doesn't die. He falls asleep during Secret Wars. This suggests that Thor is going to be unconscious for most of Avengers Secret Wars while the other heroes are fighting on Battleworld. But eventually he's going to wake up. And when he does, he's going to want his power back. I think the climax of Avengers Secret Wars is going to involve Thor reclaiming the Odin Force from Doom and finally becoming Rune King Thor. In the comics, Rune King Thor is the most powerful version of Thor that's ever existed. He sacrificed his eyes to gain cosmic knowledge and mastered rune magic to the point where he became more powerful than Odin ever was. If the MCU gives us Rune King Thor in Secret Wars, it's going to be one of the hypest moments in Marvel history. Picture this. The heroes are losing. Doom has reshaped reality and he's ruling over Battleworld as a god. Then Thor wakes up. He's been unconscious for the entire movie, but now he's back. And he's not the same Thor who fell in battle. He's ascended. He reclaims the Odin Force. He masters rune magic. And he becomes powerful enough to challenge God Emperor Doom in a final battle for the fate of the multiverse. That would be such a satisfying arc for Thor. He starts Avengers Doomsday by gaining incredible power but losing it because he's not ready. Then he spends Secret Wars unconscious while his friends fight without him. And finally he wakes up at the crucial moment, fully realizes his potential and becomes the warrior king he was always meant to be. Do you think Thor is going to be the one who ultimately defeats Doom, or do you think it's going to be someone else like Tony Stark or Reed Richards? Comment your prediction below because this is one of the biggest questions heading into these movies, the path to God Emperor Doom. So let's put all of these pieces together and talk about how Doctor Doom is going to become God Emperor Doom, because that's really what Avengers Doomsday is building toward. This isn't a movie where the heroes win at the end, this is a movie where the villain wins and reshapes reality itself. In the comics, the Secret Wars storyline from 2015 written by Jonathan Hickman is one of the most epic Marvel events ever published. The multiverse is dying. Incursions are happening everywhere. The Illuminati, which includes Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and others, try everything they can to stop it. They use the Infinity Gauntlet. They destroy entire universes to prevent incursions. They make horrific moral choices that haunt them. And in the end, none of it matters. The multiverse collapses anyway. The only thing left is a patchwork planet called Battleworld, which is made up of fragments from different destroyed realities all stitched together. And ruling over Battleworld as an absolute god is Dr. Doom. How did Doom become God Emperor Doom in the comics? He made a deal with Molecule Man, a reality warper who exists in every universe. Together, they confronted the Beyonders, a race of omnipotent beings who were destroying the multiverse. Doom and Molecule Man killed the Beyonders, and Doom absorbed their power. With that godlike energy, Doom created Battleworld and declared himself its god and ruler. He reshaped reality however he wanted. He made Susan Storm, Reed Richards' wife, his own wife. He made himself the hero of every story. He controlled life and death. He was worshipped by everyone on Battleworld. And the few heroes who survived the collapse of the multiverse had to figure out how to dethrone a god. The MCU version of this story is obviously going to be different because the Beyonders haven't been introduced yet and probably won't be. So Marvel Studios needs a different explanation for how Doom gains godlike power. And based on all the leaks and rumors, it seems like Doom is going to do it by absorbing the powers of superpowered individuals. Franklin Richards is the most obvious target. Franklin's reality warping abilities are off the charts. If Doom can control Franklin or siphon his power, that alone would make Doom incredibly dangerous. Then there's Love, the girl who was resurrected by eternity. She has cosmic powers that come directly from a universal entity. If Doom can take that power, he gains a connection to eternity itself. Wiccan, who is the son of Scarlet Witch, has reality-altering magic. In the comics, Wiccan eventually becomes the Demiurge, a god of magic. If the MCU is setting up that storyline, then Wiccan is another potential power source for Doom. Steve Rogers' kid has been rumored as well. We don't know much about this character yet, but if Steve's child has inherited any kind of super soldier abilities or something more, Doom could target them too. And now with the Thor leak, we know Doom is also going to take the Odin Force. That's 5 massive power sources. Franklin Richards, Love, Wiccan, the Odin Force, possibly others we don't even know about yet. Each one makes Doom exponentially more powerful. By the end of Avengers Doomsday, Doom is going to have absorbed so much energy that he's essentially a god. And when the multiverse finally collapses, Doom is going to be the one who reshapes what's left. That's how we get Battleworld. That's how we get God Emperor Doom. And that's how we set up Avengers Secret Wars. Now here's what's really interesting. In the comics, one of the most important characters in Secret Wars is Doctor Strange. Strange survives the collapse of the multiverse and becomes the sheriff of Battleworld, enforcing Doom's will. But Strange secretly knows the truth. He knows Doom isn't actually a benevolent god. He knows Doom is a tyrant who stole power that doesn't belong to him. And Strange is waiting for the right moment to help the heroes dethrone him. I think the MCU is going to do something similar. Doctor Strange is going to survive the collapse of the multiverse. Maybe he uses the Time Stone or a spell to protect himself and a few other heroes. Maybe he escapes to the Quantum Realm or the Void. However it happens, Strange is going to be one of the key players in Secret Wars. And he's going to be the one who helps coordinate the plan to take down God Emperor Doom. The heroes who survive the collapse are probably going to include characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Doctor Strange, maybe Captain Marvel, maybe Ant-Man since he has access to the Quantum Realm. These survivors are going to spend the first half of Secret Wars figuring out where they are and what happened. Then they're going to realize that Doom has become a god and that they need to find a way to stop it. Meanwhile, Thor is going to be asleep. But when he wakes up, everything changes. Thor reclaiming the Odin Force and becoming Rune King Thor is going to be the turning point. That's the moment when the heroes finally have a chance. And I think the final battle of Secret Wars is going to be Thor, Reed Richards, and Doctor Strange working together to defeat Doom. Reed represents science and intellect. Strange represents magic and mysticism. Thor represents raw power and warrior spirit. Together they embody everything the heroes need to dethrone a god. And here's the emotional punch. Reed is fighting to get his family back. He's fighting for Franklin. He's fighting for Susan. He's fighting because Doom took everything from him. Thor is fighting to reclaim his power and his honor. He's fighting because he failed in Doomsday and he needs to make it right. Strange is fighting because he's seen what Doom's rule looks like and he knows it's wrong. Each of them has a personal stake in this battle. It's not just about saving the multiverse, it's about redemption, family, and justice. That's what's going to make Avengers Secret Wars so powerful. So here's my final question for you. Do you think the heroes are actually going to to restore the multiverse, or do you think Secret Wars is going to end with a permanent reset? Because in the comics, the multiverse does get restored, but it's different. Some things change. Some characters are brought back. Some are lost forever. The MCU could do the same thing. They could use Secret Wars as a way to soft reboot the universe and start fresh with new actors and new storylines. Or they could restore things mostly the way they were and continue building on what they've already established. What do you think Marvel should do? Comment below with your thoughts, because this is the biggest decision Marvel Studios is going to make in the next few years. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates as we get closer to Avengers Doomsday in May 2026 and Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. This is going to be the most ambitious story Marvel has ever told, and we're going to cover every single leak, trailer, and theory leading up to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.